everybody, welcome in. This is Sportsify 2024 football edition. We are ready to go. We are so excited to be back. We are on video format this year, adding a little bit to what we do. With me, as always, is my co-host, Grant Hawker.
What up?
Joining us on the third mic and engineering the show is Jameson DeFore.
Hello, hello.
And our buddy Mike Connor joining us is our, deep dive expert. Usually corrects us when we're wrong type of thing. But welcome in, buddy.
Just call me your backup. I'm good.
He's backup. All right.
You're more than the backup. You're more than that.
Yeah.
He's on the field, man. He's in the game. Well, we're excited.
Taysom Hill of the podcast.
There we go.
There you go. Who did not get drafted today, by the way.
I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I thought about it.
Come on. We're going to get into fantasy stuff a little bit later. But we do have a new format this year. Want to just kind of drop what that's going to be. We're going to be in an hour-long format. We've been doing deep dives and all kinds of stuff the last couple of years as we've been hosting this podcast. But we have found that we just love doing pick'em. And we love breaking down a couple of the hot games of the week and sometimes the train wrecks and travesties that happen. And so we'll continue doing those things while giving way to the fact that we're all insanely busy. And this can be a little tough to do. I'm sure we'll get a couple podcasts that are longer than others, but we're going to aim for around an hour so you guys can digest that week to week. Super pumped for that. Hope you guys had a great summer. But I'm ready to dive into this thing and be about it. We got to, watch a lot of weird contract drama, still a little bit going on.
Really, from your team? Your team was drama city, off-season drama.
I brought this up to you the other day, one-on-one. Okay, Jamar Chase still hasn't signed a contract.
That's true.
Nobody has talked about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, there hasn't been the noise of Ayuk and the drama and the online stuff. Jamar's obviously been in his contract stuff, but hasn't been on his buddy's Instagram lives or liking posts or doing all that stuff. So I think that's why the attention was on Ayuk as opposed to Jamar Chase.
Well, that's adorable. But the dude was going to make $1 million this year. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league.
Oh yeah.
He's not going to pay him. It's not going to happen. He's not playing week 1. Ayuk's playing week 1, and honestly, I don't know that was ever really in doubt. The dude was going to make $26 or $30 million this year, and the Bengals still don't have a real contract offer in front of Jamar Chase. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And by the way, T. Higgins ain't playing there next year either, so they should probably make somebody happy. Just throwing that out there.
And it should probably be Chase.
It's going to have to be because Higgins is going to catch probably 80 balls this year in audition to play for somebody else. That's what that is. But we do appreciate you guys listening. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff right now. I know that there's some things that people should probably do, though, Grant, and be about as we're in our new format, right?
Yeah. So since we're in a new format, we're going to be on Spotify and we're also going to be on YouTube. So since we're in video format, you're seeing our ugly mugs for the first time, some of you. So since we're on YouTube, doing the typical like and subscribe, that's just something that we're going to, again, bake into what we're doing. We're going to be in video format now. And so we'll be on YouTube. There's multiple places you can find us. But if you want to like and subscribe, smash that like button, all those typical, YouTuber jargon, go right ahead and do that. Let's get right into it.
Well, first of all, we're going to drop that we've shared this every year. We are all NFC West fans.
Yep.
Myself and Mike, as you can see, got the Bosa jersey and the 49er hat hanging in the background. I do not have my gear on today. I won't lie. It was a crazy day, just even getting in time for my fantasy draft earlier.
Big fan.
But hey, shut your mouth. And Grant, as you can see, got that Russell Wilson garbage number 3 jersey right over him.
My boy Pete Carroll.
Both guys have nothing to do with your team. Over there in the cave. Congratulations.
No, I'm going to get a Mike McDonald shirt here soon.
But of the 4 of us, Jameson clearly the most, currently happy fan. Is that how do I say that? He's had the most current success.
Yeah, the most recent Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't hide our bias. We don't hide the prejudice. We do love our teams, but at the same time, I think we're all pretty good at being like, yeah, that wasn't good when it comes to our own squad. So
Yeah.
just know that as we go through stuff, everybody's got flaws, people. Some people like the Seahawks, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But no, as we're going into the season, we wanted to talk about a couple of things, just looking ahead and into this year, but also considering what has happened. So, wanted to talk real quick about your guys' favorite draft and or most improved roster from said draft and the offseason. I know I have a favorite. I'm opening the floor though to what you guys have ahead of me here. So go ahead and somebody jump on it. What's your favorite off season from one of these teams so far?
Well, I guess I'll go. I mean, this one's kind of probably obvious. We talked about it a lot, but I do think that the Bears got significantly better. Like, they did incredible in their draft. I know we've had the Caleb Williams debate. But I think even apart from that, if you take that away, they still traded for Keenan Allen. They went and they traded for, or they didn't trade for, but they they drafted Roma Dunze. In the offseason, and in the season last year, they in the trade deadline, they went and got what's his name from the Commanders? Montez Sweat, right?
There you go.
Yeah. They got Montez Sweat. This is a team that, a year ago we were like, what are they? What are they? Who are they? But they've really positioned themselves well. And for a number one pick to go to a team that is, in a lot of ways, it's like the best position a number one pick has been in a long time. Like you think of Trevor Lawrence, and like a lot of times they're number one picks for a reason, right? They're not a good team. They got holes to fill, and they're hopeful that their number one guy can do it. But Caleb Williams doesn't have to go in there and be Superman. Like, and that's perfect for someone like, and I think he's talented. I think he'll be, what I think is advertised at some point, but it doesn't even have to be this year, and they can go win. They can get a playoff spot. And so I really think that the Bears are my most improved team overall.
Yeah, and that was ultimately going to be my first pick too. So I'll just kind of piggyback on that. Like, when I was, and we'll eventually get to this year, some of our predictions, but as I was going through it, I just had a really hard time finding a team. Granted, it's not like the Bears from a record perspective were absolutely abysmal last year, but as far as the leap that this team can take, it's one of the bigger leaps of a team. Part of me did want to kind of be a homer and say the Rams because even though we lost Aaron Donald, I did like how we drafted for our defense. I think there's some potential there. And then if I was going to throw in a sleeper, I would kind of say the Chargers, low key. I think Joe Alt is going to maul some people. And that's going to be really good for the Chargers and their identity. But yeah, ultimately my number one pick does go, again, it's a really good situation for him. That defense was nasty at the end of the year last year. And then they also drafted again in the first round, Roma Dunze to go along with that. That's just a really good spot for a guy who has the talent to not be the guy that has the talent and walk into a dumpster fire of a team, which is kind of, ironic to say that the Bears aren't that destination for once. So I'm really excited to watch them. I agree. That's my number one pick as well.
I'm going to jump in on the top here and go Houston Texans.
That's not bad.
This is, to me, a terrifying, and I mean terrifying offense. CJ Stroud did work last year, getting his team into the playoffs. This is a healthy wide receiver group that includes Nico Collins, that includes Tank Dell, that includes Stephon Diggs. Never mind the fact that they re-signed Dalton Schultz, added Joe Mixon. They have a real running back on this team
for the first time in the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Half decade.
And I mean, they upgraded their pass rush. You went and got Hunter from the Vikings. Yep. They solidified what they needed to in the secondary, drafting a safety. They went and got another offensive tackle in that draft in the earlier rounds. So I loved what they did. I think this team is terrifying when it comes to the offensive end of the ball. Like CJ is unreal. As a rookie, doing what he did was just ridiculous. So now that they've got this upgraded defense, they brought in all these weapons. There is no excuse for this team to not be averaging 4+ touchdowns a game. They're going to be in that 30-point conversation every single week. And as the 49ers proved in the regular season last year, anytime you're getting over 28 in the NFL, it's basically a dub if you got a decent defense. And they went pass rush in the offseason, signed Hunter, like I said. I think that's probably in that 12 to 14 sack range. He's going to be in the top 7 or 8 for sacks. That's just awesome. I will say they lost a little bit here and there. Like they lost an interior defensive lineman who's going to start in Malik Collins for the 49ers. They did lose a couple pieces, here and there, but most of it was backup players with the exception of Collins. So really, they did a great job keeping it all together, and I expect them to do really well. We'll get to our predictions in a little bit.
And I think just piggyback off that too. Like this just feels like a team that's just primed for like to just be in the Super Bowl. Like would any of us be shocked if they're in the Super Bowl? Obviously, the Chiefs are still there in the AFC. Like they have to get past that. But like it's a second-year quarterback who was incredible. You expect that leap again, and then they just went all in on him to get him all the help he needs. And so that just feels like a team that could be in the Super Bowl.
Mike?
Second-year coach there in Houston, by the way, too. So it's only going to get
more experience
better.
There. Yep.
Yeah, defensive minded. I'm going with a bit of a might surprise a couple. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense has been absolutely retooled, and I'm going to say it's going to start with Vic Fangio coming in.
Yep.
He is a legitimate defensive coordinator, change of culture guy. I'm going to say they drafted Jordan Davis. He's my dude. I don't know how the Eagles keep getting these defensive tackles, but dang nab, that guy is in the middle, and they might have. I mean, they did lose Hassan Reddick, right? But they still have, he's a good pass rusher. He's a problem of an attitude kind of guy, but he's a good pass rusher.
Bullet dodged, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and bullet dodged. Yeah, I will agree. But there are other draft picks: Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell. Those cornerbacks. They have retooled there in the Eagles have, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Like I do not like the Eagles, and I hate seeing them to do. They brought in James Bradbury. They brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson. They've just retooled so much of their defense from top to bottom. And I mean, they picked up the 49ers Oren Burks, right? He's that slash player that can fill in wherever they need him to. And so you're just looking at it, you're just like, wow, they've just retooled this team. And that's not even mentioning they got Saquon Barkley, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
They put Saquon Barkley on the field with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. And like, what are we doing? Like, this team just stepped it up again. And and I think our standings will reflect that as well, I hope. But man, for a team, because they looked terrible down the stretch last year. They got a new offensive coordinator. They fell apart. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator coming in because they got them all stolen last year, right? So here we go. Eagles are coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I will say real quick, I'm very concerned about the loss of Jason Kelce. That is my one, like,
Well, Jason Kelce and Graham, right? Brandon Graham?
Yeah, Brandon Graham.
Yep.
It's a lot of years of experience you have to replace.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's more about basically the leadership and essentially the shot calling of Jason Kelce. Even though sure his physical talent and what he could do there was, perfect for their offense. But I think that is a pretty big deal, especially for a guy like Jalen Hurts. I'm just really intrigued with how that is going to pan out as far as the offense goes.
Yeah. Plus minus there, like you lose the most effective short yardage play in the game. Like, don't think that they're going to retool with another center and be able to do what they have been doing on 3rd and 4th and short. It's just
not going to be as successful at it.
No. You cannot
still do it.
Kelce.
Every team does it now.
Yeah. But nobody to that success rate and nobody as much as they were doing it because they knew it was an automatic. I mean, it was literally a 97% success rate when they did it. 97%. That's ridiculous. But also, to Mike's point, if you're going to get young somewhere, they got young in the right place. Cornerback is literally like the spot where you can come in as a rookie and completely change a defense. So I think that was really smart to see them take that on. They'd spent a lot of money on 1-year contracts recently on corners, Bradbury and others included. And I thought that was really smart that they went after 2 guys early. and solidified that group. But
I do want to say real quick, as far as losing their center, right? They picked up Cam Jurgens 2 years ago from Nebraska. They knew that Kelsey was retiring soon, and they put in an heir apparent who's been waiting in the wings for 2 years behind him learning. And like they drafted him as a center in round 2 from Nebraska. So I think they knew this was coming. I think they like what they had from this kid. And I don't know if it's going to be as much of a fall off as it could have been, because they thought to the future and they were prepared.
Sure.
There's some other teams that have lost some linemen and we're not prepared. So,
well, I think those are all valid points. I think it's just a way that ends up coming together for some of those teams. But yeah, Eagles have done, regardless of your love, hate of them, a great job retooling where their losses were and also preparing for future. Probably also doing a great job putting some more points on the board, bringing in Saquon. It's an obvious upgrade over Swifty, and I got to get that. It sounds like Mike's favorite player to look out for this year is going to be Cam Jurgens.
Deep pull right there, my friend.
No, but Grant, what's a player that you're looking forward to as far as 24 season is concerned? Somebody you can't wait to see on the field and how it goes.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and this might be a homer pick, but not like an NFL. No, it's not Seattle. Bo Nix.
Oh,
I'm interested to see what he is.
Yeah,
he had a great preseason, arguably the best preseason in out of all the rookies. I think he played a lot. Obviously, go Ducks. But I'm really interested to see what Sean Payton does with him. Like, they've sung his praises, and he's shown up in the preseason and in the sample size he's had. So and I'll get to watch it week 1. The Bucks, the Broncos come to town against Seattle week 1. Now I don't love that for him with the mastermind that is Mike McDonald, and I'm just all about that right now. But I'm really interested in what Bo Nix can do. Like, he's going to be the starter. He's going to start week 1, and he's going to ride it out the entire season unless he gets injured. And so that's who I'm really interested this year.
Yeah, Jameson.
I'm going to pick a new guy, and I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in seeing what he's going to be able to do. Like, Arizona, I don't have super high expectations for, and I think the NFC West, as we'll end up getting into, is a very packed division, as it tends to be. But I think with the healthy Kyler and like watching his impact on that team, I'm just really excited for it, because they were kind of, risky at times last season, kind of on and off. And I think, of the new wide receivers, he's got like Justin Jefferson potential as far as like stepping in and just making an impact on that team. And so I'm really interested. And I think if he does, come in and do what I expect him to do, we could potentially look at like 4 playoff teams coming out of the West. Like, if he has that like peak boom potential rookie year to just like really bolster that offense with Kyler. So I'm really interested in watching him. But I also love receivers, and that's one of the new guys that I've had my eyes on. So I'm gonna pick Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mike, who you got?
I'm kind of torn. I got a couple here that I was trying to choose through, but mine's going to be
yeah.
I'm choosing between Ladd McConkey and Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna land on Aaron Rodgers though.
Okay,
that was my second pick.
Coming back from that injury, what is this going to be? Because if he comes back as Aaron Rodgers, that Jets team is dangerous, right? If he doesn't, like, did he just hurt his whole Hall of Fame run by coming back and just going to the Jets and doing all this weird, sleep in dark rooms for weeks at a time? Or I don't know. Like, he's just gotten weird, it seems. But at the same time, if he can come back and play and be Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are scary. And that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the corner of my eye watching that guy, because if any team can take down the Kansas City Chiefs, it's the Jets with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Because that defense is legitimate, and that offense could be phenomenal with a good Aaron Rodgers at the helm.
That's a nice little. It's a
pretty warm take.
I don't know if it's hot, but it's up there.
Yeah. I mean, if he's healthy and good, that team. Watch out, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, like that. They've got good.
That team
pieces.
has been, everything but the quarterback for so long now.
Mhm.
And so if you can plug that hole, and really the only reason it was that last year is because he got hurt in 4 plays. So if you have, floor level Aaron Rodgers, it's like that floor is much higher than the ceiling that you've had the past several years. But now you have, a roster, offensive and defensive, with weapons around him. He doesn't have to be Superman.
Yeah.
I've been debating between two in my head. One is just a guy that I think we're all rooting for, because if you paid attention to the NFL draft and you've been watching, as the summer went along, Keon Coleman from the Bills is awesome.
He's a character.
Just put a mic in front of him, get that camera going.
Yeah.
Anything he says, I want to hear. I want to watch. I love him. I really am cheering for him as a football player. I almost drafted him today in fantasy with my last pick, but somebody ended up snagging him right before me. I love that guy. But that aside, I think when it comes to football, I love to see a guy that everybody genuinely seems to enjoy do well. And this guy's done it for one team for a long time. And in a new offense, I'm really excited to see what King Henry can do.
That was my other one. Yeah,
I love the change over to Baltimore for him. I think that's fantastic. Like, he's just been on some cruddy teams with no quarterback, and finally having Lamar there to take the pressure off him, having a healthy Mark Andrews, a legit number one receiver in Zay Flowers, who proved a lot of people wrong last year, and a new style of offense for them. This is going to be different, for sure.
Yeah.
So all those things said, I love King Henry. This dude has won me multiple fantasy championships, and I owe him quite a bit in that regard. But I just think it's a great fit all the way around, and I'm hoping in probably what is not quite the sunset of his career, but in the last few years here of him truly being high-end effective, which I think he's got this year and next year, if I'm being really honest. But he's also a freak like LeBron physically, so who knows? I really hope he does well, so I'm excited to see what he does. For sure. I know we got a lot of players that we're watching. If you saw this week, the 49ers had a player get shot in an attempted robbery, took the guy's gun from him, shot him with it. That was pretty awesome. And Ricky Purcell, just pretty awesome, being glad everybody's okay and that guy will learn his lesson and blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Disclaimer, good. But there's a lot of interesting storylines going into this week, and all that said, I do want to get into what we think about teams that are going to do well. Okay. And just going division by division here, breaking this down and looking at each division and trying to just, I don't know, analyze it, say not necessarily who's going to finish where in the 2 through 4, but who is our division champions? Why do we like them? And what record do we think they're coming out with? We're going to start in the AFC East, and I'll just go ahead and kick this one off, move on down the line real quick. I looked at the moves. I think this is going to be a 3-team race, but I think there's a clear number one, in my opinion.
You don't think that the Patriots are going to be competitive this year?
No.
Hey, he said 3 teams.
I think it's the Patriots. Yeah, they're one of those 3.
Yeah.
No, I do not think the Patriots are going to be competitive. They're absolute trash on fire, and they should hope for 8 and 9.
That's really generous.
Yeah, it probably is. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what the Bills are. They lost some key pieces, as we're all aware.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who they are on the offensive side of the ball right now, though James Cook did develop nicely for them. They've got Kincaid, who developed nicely for them. But that's really interesting overall. You still got Josh Allen, so you still got a chance. That defense did play really well, but Floyd's gone. They lost multiple people in the secondary. It's a whole thing. The Jets, as already been stated, definitely an option here. I don't see any reason why they couldn't win the division, but the long and short of it is Dolphins still got the best roster in this division, top to bottom. I'm taking the Dolphins here. Don't love 12 wins, but I love them at 11-6. I think this division is going to be competitive enough that they might lose a home and away with the Bills and the Jets and still end up taking this division at 11-6.
I guess I'll go next. Yeah. I got the same thing. I think it's the Dolphins. I just think they're a little more complete and also have played games together. Like Aaron Rodgers played 4 snaps. Like it might take a little bit for them to kind of figure some things out, even though he's been there for 2 years. And I just think the Dolphins have always started out strong. Like they've always, you look at, a month into the season and they're 5-1, they're 4-0, things like that. And I think that's going to matter for them. And I think that the Dolphins are just going to take it. I'm actually going to stay the same at 11-6.
Either one, take it.
Yeah, I've got the. We probably all have. I'm going to guess that we probably have the AFC East the same. Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots in that order. That's the way I feel about it.
That's the exact order I have.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all looking at.
The exact order I have. Yeah.
I'm going Dolphins, taking it at 12-5. That's where I got them. Just edging out the Jets. I think the Jets are a 10-11 win team. I think the Dolphins get that 12-5. So
I agree. Nothing really else to add. I do have Dolphins, Jets in that order. Dolphins around that 12 win, Jets around that 10-11 win. And I think, I don't know how much we can get to it. Those are the only 2 teams I have coming out of that division for the playoffs.
Yep, same here.
Fair enough. Well, then, Jameson, why don't you take us into the AFC South?
We'll snake it.
And
AFC South.
Yeah, we're gonna go into that one next. Who do you have taking the AFC South?
No brainer to me. This is got to be the Texans. I think not only are they going to win that division, I think they're going to win it pretty comfortably. I think this is a team that is going to win 12 games, and I think they could win 13 games. I think CJ Stroud is going to finish top 3 in MVP, if not potentially win an MVP this season. I feel so strongly about their offense. I think not only for the wins, they're going to win the division. If they win 13 games, they start bolstering themselves into like, hey, are we going to be, having a bye in the first round of the playoffs, depending on what unfolds in like the North, or, how the Chiefs end up, figuring out that regular season. But I think the Texans are going to have a really strong year. I think CJ is going to have the wins and the counting stats to even potentially have an MVP season. And so I have the Texans winning the South there.
Mike, take it.
I've got the Texans winning the South. I have them right at that same as the Dolphins. I got them at 12-5. But I have the Dolphins slightly edging them out for the tiebreaker for the playoffs there. And I have the Colts making the playoffs as well. So those are my 2 teams there. Like Jaguars and Titans. I think the Titans will be better than people think. I think the Jags are going to be up there competing. But I think for the same reasons, the Texans just they're set to take another step, right? They were great last year. They won a bunch of games that nobody even expected them to. They came out scoring so many points, and you're just like, where'd this come from? And I think they're the team, the league's expecting it now, but they also got better. They also got They also took another step. Now they know who they are. Now they know what they want, and you're going to get better. And the Colts, I think, with Anthony Richardson healthy, I think that team almost made the playoffs last year without him. I think you plug him back in. He was phenomenal. Those first 5 games, like electric. People were like, who is this guy, right? And I think with a healthy Richardson, that guy can sling the ball. That's my guys right there. So
yeah,
I only had the Texans coming out. For the record, they're the only playoff team I have coming out of there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jameson. I only have the Texans coming out, but I have them winning 13 games. Like that's I think that's a lock right there for 13. Like they're just really talented. Like I said earlier, if they're in the Super Bowl, I'm not surprised. And if they win the Super Bowl, I'm not going to be surprised. Because I think if they get to the Super Bowl, they could beat anybody in the NFC. Like, because that means they would have to have beat the Chiefs. Yeah. And if you can beat the Chiefs, they're the team until they're not. So,
yep.
Yeah, obviously, I said what I said about the Texans earlier. I'm all in. I'm going to be 12-5 here just because of the games they're going to have to play in the other conference. But I think they're likely 5-1 in division. I like either the Colts or the Jags to get them at some point.
I think the Jags can take one off them.
Clown Town's a real thing.
It's true.
It's so weird, but that division, for some reason, they snag a game in December all the time. And, maybe Houston goes and has a couple injuries, something like that. they lose one down there. Wouldn't be shocked. I have the Colts on the fringe for the playoff as we're going through this. But all that hinges on quarterback play. You got to have the guy.
Yeah.
If he's not there, they're not in. That said, they're in as a maybe 9-8, maybe that 10. Like, I don't think they're definitely not getting more than 10. Just not it's not a good enough roster yet. Love Pittman, 100 plus catches net last year, gonna do it again. But he does need to find the end zone a little bit more, and AR's got to stay in the games. So we'll see how reckless he plays, or if that dude has learned to slide. That'll be interesting to see.
Or just step out of bounds. You don't need that extra 2 yards. It's not worth it, bro.
I'm almost wondering, like, I love you guys. As we're moving to this next division, do we just say it? Is anybody going to disagree? We're going to the AFC West. Is anybody going to disagree?
Nope. Chiefs, baby.
No. It's the Chiefs.
They got better than last year. So
right. My question to you guys is 11, 12, or 13?
I'm honestly going to say closer to like 11 because I think they really want to three-peat, and I think they're going to pace themselves for it. I think Kelsey is probably going to sit some games. I think they're going to be fairly conservative in the regular season. Not that they can't win 13 games. I just don't think that is their number one priority, and I think something like last year is kind of a testament to that. You go in, you have a regular season where they probably still win 13 games if they, take away a couple of those terrible drops. And even then, we weren't like looking at that team like, wow, that's the Chiefs that we know. They're just lighting it up. They weren't lighting it up.
Play there anymore.
Exactly. And you take away a couple of those plays, you have 2 more wins easily. You win 13 games. So I'm not writing them off for 13 wins. I think they're certainly capable. I just don't think that that's their number one priority.
They're the LeBron of the NFL. They're just gonna get into the playoffs, and we've
now seen that they don't. It doesn't have to go through Arrowhead the whole time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to.
I have it going through Arrowhead. I have them as my number 1 seed. I've got them with 13 wins.
Wouldn't shock me.
I almost gave them 14 wins. Like, this team got better than last year.
Yeah.
Like, we can't say that enough, right? They got better than last year, which is ridiculous. And because
last year was supposed to be the year they rebuild. They had to retool,
last year
and they won.
Should have been the year they got, and they did. Like, nobody in the AFC could do it. Nobody in the NFC could do it. And then they got better. So Chiefs are my number 1 seed. I think they got best record in the league this year. And it's sad for me to say that as a 49er fan.
I mean, we haven't said it out loud yet, so I'll just say their receiving room is ridiculous.
So much depth.
I honestly, like, with Worthy, with Rice, with Hollywood when he gets back, that's a legit threat. And
without Kelsey.
You have the best underneath guy in the league.
Yeah.
You have a top 10 running back in the league. Who
can catch the ball.
Yeah. And I really liked you guys always make fun of me when I try and say his name. So they picked up this guy who used to play for the Bengals, whose last name starts with a P. And you guys are going to say his name for me, so I don't sound like a
I'm lost.
Samaje Perine.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
And no, I actually love him as a backup for them. Makes a lot of sense with that offense because Clyde is
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not it.
Who?
Yeah. But they have the best interior offensive line in the league. They have the best interior defensive lineman in the league. And I hate them so much. But 12 is my number. Comfortably.
12.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I'm just going to move us on. We got one more AFC division to hit. The North, which has traditionally been, like, over the last several years, the most competitive in the AFC, like, overall. You never know. I mean, this division has given us 3 playoff teams a couple of times in recent years. So, Grant, who you got?
Obviously I think there's really two clear options for this. It being the Bengals or the Ravens. The Ravens last year were essentially an all pro, a Pro Bowl team with, especially on that defense. I'm Joe Burrow hopefully is back healthy. Hopefully Jamar Chase, they figure out his contract thing. But I'm still gonna go the Ravens. Like I just think that I think Burrow might be a little better here, but I do think that the addition of Derrick Henry is just like that's a match made in heaven. And we were hoping for that like in the middle of the season last year when we knew that Derrick Henry wasn't going to re-sign with the Titans. We're like, oh, he needs to go to the Ravens. He needs to go to the Ravens. And he did. So I'm going with the Ravens. I have them at I'm gonna have them at 11 wins.
Yeah. That could probably win. It might be a tiebreaker, but
I think it'll be a tiebreaker thing because I just think that the division's going to beat up on each other a little bit, so they won't have like 12 or 13. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Jameson.
I also have the Ravens, and I actually have the Ravens winning the AFC. I think they are pretty consistent from start to finish throughout the regular season. Ironically, that tends to be a flaw of theirs because unlike the Chiefs, who kind of coasted through the regular season last year with the ups and downs, we're definitely not as consistent as the Ravens. In the playoffs, they put it together. The Ravens, they just don't really have a history of doing that right now. So, but I still do like them for the regular season. I have the Bengals coming in second, also making the playoffs there.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got the Ravens. I have them as the number 2 seed going into the playoffs. I think they're going to lose the tiebreaker this week, foreshadowing. To the Chiefs. And then the Bengals are going to be my 7th seed, kind of backing in. It's going to be a battle between the Bengals and Steelers coming down the wire, I think, for that last playoff spot.
The Steelers.
Yeah.
Wait, I said yeah, and I did not realize that's what you said. I disagree wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah.
Steelers are dumpster fire without a real quarterback.
I agree.
Offensive line. And they did not get better.
What are you talking about? The GOAT
on defense.
Right behind me? The GOAT
we
right
had
behind
this
me?
conversation all year last year. We don't need to get back into it again.
Yeah. We don't need to give that any life. Russell Wilson used to be good. He's a used to be.
In that jersey, pretty good.
Hall of Famer in that jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that
part. He's going to be after his career's over.
Okay. I can't even.
Okay.
Maybe. No, to Mike's comment. So
I mean, he did never get an MVP vote. So
yeah, there's that.
Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
One. A lot of quarterbacks have one ring.
One ring.
Yep. Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl ring.
Cost him another ring.
Yeah. Okay. You'd rather have Joe Flacco than Russell Wilson.
Joe Flacco made the playoffs last year.
Eli Manning.
That's true. Eli's got 2.
Yeah.
I'm not dogging on Eli.
I'd take Eli's career. All right, we're getting derailed here, people.
This is how an episode turns into 3 hours.
Yes, this is the Steelers are bums. The Browns are fringe team. The Bengals better do well, but they need Jamar Chase. The Ravens are winning this division probably with 12 wins. I'd love Mike's call out that they lose the tiebreaker here. I don't have them in the AFC Championship, but no, it's a great call out, and you may be onto something for sure. I want to push through into the NFC, but I think we're doing pretty solid. I know we're all obviously in line so far. Let's see if the NFC does something horrible to us and makes us hate each other and our ideas. Let's go straight to the South. Grant, why don't you start us out in the NFC South?
In the NFC South, I don't like a lot of these teams. Like I'm
shocked.
Yeah, Panthers are bad. The Saints are probably worse. I'd much rather be a Panthers fan.
I actually agree. I have the Saints coming in.
The Saints are still in like cap purgatory and will continue to be.
And have one of the worst coaches I've ever seen.
What terrible coach? Derek Carr is Derek Carr. Have you guys seen the clip of Chris Olave when he got asked in an interview? Like, has there been a moment in this offseason where you've said, we're going to be good this year? And he literally goes, no. Find the clip. Like someone look it up.
He's honest.
He's honest.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Chris Olave is the only good thing on that team. Pretty much.
Taysom Hill's on that team. Calm down.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The GOAT. But I still have the Bucks. I think the Bucks are still good. They're a 9 win. I think that's what they were last year in the division. 9 or 10. I'm at the 9 or 10. I just think there's a severe difference between the division winner in the South than like the North or the West or that kind of stuff. Like there's definitely tiers to this thing. So I'm going the Bucks. I'll go 10 and 7. I think they win one more.
All right, let's skip around here. Let's go, Mike.
I'm going Falcons to take this to the South here.
Hey.
I think they're the 10-win team in this. Maybe even just 9. Just to be honest. Well, they were a quarterback away and somebody knowing how to run Bijan Robinson away from taking this division last year.
Sure.
Right?
Arthur's going away.
Yes. Yeah. We said it at the end of the year last year in our podcast. I brought it up a couple times. Like the Falcons still could have won that division in the last 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were right there with terrible quarterback. I mean, Cordero Patterson was like the dude for that team for half the year. So I think the Falcons are going to make a run here. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be improved. Kirk Cousins, I like him. He takes care of the ball. And the Falcons, they're going to be my 4 seed. And I think the Buccaneers just missed the playoffs.
Not just to mix it up. I actually really like the Bucs. I love the development of Rachaad White. I love that Mike Evans is back. People can say
Godwin's still there.
That dude, death taxes, and that guy with 1,000 yards receiving and probably 8 touchdowns. Like, I love where they're at and that they've kept the squad together and developed them really well. They got younger on defense. There's nothing for me to hate there. I'm going to take them as a tiebreaker winner at 10-7 to get the division. Jameson,
I've also got the Falcons.
Ooh,
I'm even
50-50
just looking
split.
at their, I'm even just, revisiting their depth chart here because I'm like, obviously a lot of this is putting in Kirk Cousins and saying, don't get hurt. And then it's kind of the same conversation as the Jets. You were kind of a quarterback away. You don't quite have the defense of the Jets, but you're a quarterback away. You've got these weapons, but it's like, Tyler Algier is still rushing there as a 2-man punch. So you're not necessarily killing Bijan all season, but honestly, and really the only reason I pulled up the depth chart was because I was like, are we sure that Kirk Cousins is going to start week 1? Obviously he's going to, but
no, Penix, dude, they drafted him the 9th overall pick.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If something happens to Kirk Cousins, I don't hate Penix going in there and still being able to keep it afloat and kind of keep him on a 10-win trajectory.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm going to pick the Falcons. I do think 10 wins is going to be right there for them. And again, not a great division, but I do think they just edge out Tampa Bay there, get that 10 wins. And I think they're the only playoff team coming out of there.
We didn't say it, so I'm going to say it. Matthew Judon, that was a great move.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
They made great late moves in the offseason.
I totally forgot about it until you just said the name.
Did they pick up Simmons too? No, who got Simmons?
Yeah,
no, they did.
Simmons.
Yeah, they got Simmons at the end too. Yeah.
Together?
They got Jesse Bates as well out there now. It's an improved defense.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is. But remember, this was a team that the front 7 outperformed what we thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they needed help on the backside. They went and got it. You add that pass rusher that they have not. We talked about it so many times. Hadn't had a double-digit sack guy since. Come on.
Oh, well, wait.
Come on. Said it.
Was it Calais Campbell?
Calais Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Super Bowl year, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that was the 27-3.
28-3. Come on.
What? Did I say
28? It's 28-3. It's not 27-3. You're talking about the
it's 28-3.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
That's
One
embarrassing.
In the first show. That's fine.
It's embarrassing.
That's a historical error.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. Almost as embarrassing as them blowing a 28-3 lead.
Yeah, here we go. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the bailout.
Yep.
No, going to our next one here. We're moving on to the NFC East, our least favorite division probably in football collectively. Because we hate most of these teams.
True.
I mean, I know you guys have it
though.
I know you guys
watchable.
I know you guys hate the Eagles, but it's the Cowboys and they just make it the worst, least favorite. I know you guys hate the Eagles for your own team thing.
I actually hate the Cowboys probably the most.
Yeah, I do.
No, I know
I'm
there's in it
fan
too.
From
but
the 90s, I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying you guys also hate the Eagles.
Yes,
but I hate the Cowboys, and that's enough to make it my least favorite division.
I'll clarify. I hate the Eagles fans.
Okay.
Everybody
does. Everybody hates them.
I don't like Nick Sirianni. Everybody knows this.
There you go.
I actually, so Grant knows this. There is one time in an entire NFL season, and it doesn't happen every year, where I root for the Seahawks, and it is when the Seahawks play the Cowboys.
There you go.
I
I don't
hate the
think we-
Cowboys that much.
I don't think we play him this year. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember.
I would basically have every team that's not the Cowboys. Like I would pick them over the Cowboys. Yeah.
So I'm going to do the same thing that we did earlier with the AFC West. I'm going to assume, based on all of the people on this podcast and their general opinion, we are a sweep for the Eagles.
No.
Whoa.
Ooh,
I
wow.
You gonna
I
do
do still have the Cowboys winning the East, as much as I hate them. But here's maybe my
run game, bro.
here's maybe my hottest take. I think they're the only playoff team out of the East.
Whoa.
That's-
Ouch.
that's my
We're not
hottest
going to agree
take.
on that one for sure.
Ooh,
Somebody's got to
All
come
right.
in and somebody's got to give a hot take.
for those of
I-
you that are not watching, Matt just
I
unplugged
think-
his mic.
I think
Okay,
the
it's back
Cowboys
in.
are the
What?
only playoff
Are you
team.
insane,
No.
bro? No way.
Wow.
There is no way.
I don't love the Eagles. I haven't seen the Eagles play good football in a while. I know they made some changes,
That's true.
obviously, and they're going to be good. But I think the NFC is going to be a logjam of teams at a certain point, and I just don't know if the Eagles kind of get past the logjam. I think they're right there.
I like them more than I like a team out of, let's say, the NFC South, where only one team is getting in out of that.
I only have one team
Yeah.
making it. I
So
have one team making it out of the East.
Well, we're gonna get to it. You're doing what I think you're doing. I think that's what's happening. You're doing what I
Yeah.
think you're doing. Okay.
So I'll just go next. I'll just say right out, Eagles are my 3 seed and Dallas is my 6 seed.
duh.
That's what I got it. I've got the
Yeah.
Eagles. Part of it, honestly, I thought about flip-flopping those, except for the Cowboys won the East last year, so they can't win the East this year because that's how the East works, right? So somebody else
Can't
has to
have
win.
back to back. Yeah.
You can't
I
have
have the
back-to-back in
Cowboys
the
as a
East.
3 seed. I have the Cowboys as
Yeah.
a 3 seed.
So I got the Eagles as my 3. I already explained why their defense is vastly improved, I think, in my opinion. And you add on Saquon Barkley to that. You add Fig Fangio as that defensive coordinator. I think this team's ready. I mean, they won. They were like what? They were undefeated until they met the Niners or whatever last year. So like, I think this team's ready to go forward. I think Eagles, Cowboys, those are my playoff teams from here. Redskins, Giants, you can put them whatever order, doesn't really matter. I don't care.
I'm not gonna add anything. I'm just gonna say Eagles.
Yeah.
And I'm
Fly,
gonna
Eagles,
say-
fly.
I understand. To Jameson's point, though, the Cowboys historically are regular season monsters.
They're regular
Mhm.
season merchants for sure.
So
Yeah.
I get it. I just like the Eagles more where they're at right now from the development standpoint. And like I said, they
I
can't.
would rather it be the Eagles. I would, but
I-
I just
The Cowboys just can't run the ball. Like they
Nope.
don't have a run game. They literally don't. And
they didn't
don't-
really have one last year either, though.
Yeah, but
They
it
also
still
lost Dan
threat
Quinn.
over there. Like the potential to run the ball farther than 5 yards. CD is what they got. No, I'm not trying to take anything away from Ferguson, but that receiving core isn't great, and they can't run the ball. And they give up a bazillion yards on defense. I don't know.
And that was with Dan Quinn, who's a
Yeah,
very
they lost
good
Dan Quinn.
DC.
So there's that too. But I'm just gonna say in the 11 range and call it good there. Grant.
No, I think I'm just gonna stick with the same. Yeah, I'm Eagles for all the reasons you guys said.
All right. Well, then we'll just move on down to it. We're in the NFC North because we want to close it out with our favorite division. Mike, you want to take the first shot?
Yeah, I've got Lions as my number 1 seed in the NFC. And then the Packers squeak in at the end. I think at the end. I'm still debating on that one. We'll go with the Packers. I don't like it, but we're going with Packers. Packers are my 7. So the Lions just got better. They added more pieces on defense, and their offense stayed the same and is already good and young. Lions number 1 seed.
Yeah,
That's
Grant.
it. There you go.
I'm going Lions as well. I mean, they're good. I think Jameson Williams is going to be finally show up this year, and that will just complement well with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and what's his name, Ben, whatever the OC stayed.
Ben
Yep.
Johnson.
Ben
Ben
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah, he stayed, so they didn't lose him. I think it's just one more year of his creativity, with I think some players that are going to pop a little more. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be better. I like the defense. I like what they did. I think they'll.
Jameson, you're gonna go rogue on us.
No, unless because I do have Detroit winning this division. I have Detroit being the number 1 team in the NFC. I do have Green Bay making it into the playoffs. I actually have Green Bay and Chicago making it into the playoffs.
That's my debate.
That's what he was doing.
I have both of those teams making the playoffs as actually the 6 and 7 seeds respectively. So Packers 6, Bears 7 seed. I have them making the playoffs as well, which is why when I'm going through and I'm looking at the East, I can only have really one team from the East and the South. So that's why I'm only picking the Cowboys and I'm only picking Atlanta's because I think there's 3 playoff teams from the North.
I think the NFC is going to be the most competitive it's been in quite a while.
Yeah, dude.
Yep. Like there's so many teams that are going to win 10 games that aren't going to make it playoffs. Legitimately.
And this might be a hot take, but I'm going to say it right here is I could see the Packers, Bears, or even the Vikings taking the number 2 or the number 7 seed. Like, in my opinion, the way I'm looking at this, people are like, it's Sam Darnold. That team is good. Like,
I know,
as long
but
as Sam Darnold doesn't turn over the ball, I think that team's good. That defense was great. Was good last year.
I don't love Aaron. Aaron Jones is. Yeah.
Who did they have at quarterback last year, and they almost made the playoffs?
You lost your best pass rusher.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I'm not saying that but I don't think they're going to be bad.
I mean, they were opportunistic on defense. They weren't good.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they're going to be bad. Is all I'm saying. I'm just saying that I have them taking last place in the NFC North.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, don't count the Vikings out.
I'm so glad to hear that.
They're gonna win some games. People are like, "Wow, the Vikings won that game." Like, I think they're gonna be.
I think they could be the Cardinals of last year, where it's like, oh, like we didn't really expect that win. That was kind of you guys are a little interesting.
To be fair, remember they did win. I mean, that team beat the 49ers mid-season.
Straight up.
They beat them, and it wasn't even a great game. 49ers looked like trash against them. So
they were missing.
That was a Monday night game.
Missing a few guys.
I think they're really well coached too. So again, like I wouldn't be surprised if they're better than expected, but I think still with the logjam, if I don't have a team like the Eagles squeaking in, I think the Vikings are certainly worse than them.
Yeah, so, I understand. Yeah.
I'm definitely sticking Lions here. I like 2 teams to make it. I like the Packers again. I think that the Bears are going to be probably the best 10-win team that doesn't make it. Because I agree with you. I think there's going to be some really good football in the NFC. So, I think we all hit it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
So we're moving to our favorite division because all our first teams are in it. Oh, okay.
Let me go first here.
You just take over the show. That's fine.
I have. I'm going to jump right in, and I love my 49ers. I've got the Rams as the 2 seed. I've got the Rams as the 2 seed, and the Niners as the 5 seed. No Seahawks in the playoffs, and I think the Niners are going to get a hiccup. I think they're going to have a couple injuries. I think they make the playoffs. I still think they make a run for the Super Bowl, but I think the Niners are better when they play in the divisional rounds and stuff anyway. So wild card team. Oh yeah, let's do it.
Here's the point I'm going to make before you rebuttal. I'm going to make this point. The Niners are the only team in this division that I believe did not get better. They stayed the same.
Part of my thing. Yep.
The Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams all got better from last year. I don't think we're seeing sweeps. I think every team is going to get a game on a team. I think everybody's going to go 3-3. Right? Is that what it would be? Yeah, 3-3. That's the math. Because every team got better, except the Niners worked so hard this offseason, in my opinion, to stay where they were last year,
which was great,
which is fine. Like they did great offseason. Like Ike's back, Trent Williams back, and they're great. I'm not dogging that. I don't even. But I thought that's the point I'm going to make. Every other team got better except for Niners.
And this is coming from a Niners fan, Matt. You know, I love my Niners. I think the Rams got better. I think they pushed the Niners last year with that offense. It looks phenomenal, and Stafford's healthy, and like.
Cooper Kupp's healthy.
Rams. Cooper Kupp's health. Kyron Williams came out as a monster last year.
You guys.
What's that?
No one has hit them yet. Wait until literally week
you
two
think Matt Stafford getting hit is going to take him out of a football game? He got his lights turned off in Detroit.
If anyone is going to get hit and
get
get taken out of a game, it's the Niners. The Niners are the team that always has injuries. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 13.
Go ahead, respond, Matt. I feel you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can come at me all you want. This the 49er team is a ball hitting a dude's foot on a freak play away. A rookie playing right guard that shouldn't have been there away. Like we're literally splitting hairs, and you're like, they didn't get better, dude.
They didn't
have to be better. They have to finish. That's it. They don't need their roster to be better. That is not the problem. And I would completely argue against that. They got better at right guard. Pooney's going to take that starting spot. They got better at corner. They brought in Renardo Green. Ambry Thomas isn't starting for this team, who has been a massive problem on big plays. So I literally disagree that they didn't get better. And then also, like, do you really think that the Rams are going to elevate 2 to 3 wins off of what they've done? They just gave up their middle linebacker for nothing, by the way. That's the worst, in my opinion, the worst move of the offseason in the division. So no, like, I'm not taking that away from them at all. This is 13 wins, and it's literally the number 1 seed.
They're not winning 13 games.
I've got the Rams at 12 and the Niners at 11.
Couple of years, and guess what they keep doing?
Now, here's what I'm going to say.
And an AFC that's much better.
I just made Jameson's day, by the way.
Yeah, you did, because
10 wins in a row.
Here's the thing. I actually don't have the Rams winning the division.
Hold on. He's laughing at me while
10 in a row? Get out of here.
The playoffs. They won 10 games in a row.
Are you saying that they're going to win 10 games in a row this
year? They did it last year, and I need to get better? What the crud? They don't need
They didn't win the Super Bowl.
They need to finish one game.
But I think they also got worse in the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, and they also played Patrick Mahomes, and sometimes, like, getting better just isn't enough to beat Patrick Mahomes, and that's just what it is. Now, I actually kind of agree with Matt here. I don't have the Rams winning the division. I do have the Rams in as the 5 seed in the West, that they're going to sneak in there. I do disagree with Matt that I think that the Rams will improve by a couple wins this year. But I think the Niners are going to win the tiebreaker in the regular season, as they tend to do. Even though we did push you guys, a little bit more. Like, I still think there's a little to be said there. And again, if they stay healthy, ultimately that roster is just bonkers. But I think Rams, Niners coming out of there. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I think I eventually have them playing in the playoffs and the Rams winning that matchup there. But I do think that the Niners win in the regular season. I think they win the West, and the Rams go in as the only other playoff team from there. I will say real quick, my asterisk that I had in my notes, it was Chicago or Seahawks taking that last spot. I thought one of those divisions was going to have 3 playoff teams. I looked at their schedules again before we hopped on, and I think Chicago has a slightly more favorable schedule. There's a really tough stretch in the middle of the Seahawks schedule this year that I just couldn't really get on board with. But I would not be surprised if they also squeeze in and take the 7 seed over the Bears.
Yeah, the last thing that I want to say to talk about my team is that they won 9 games last year. If they weren't 30th ranked in rushing defense, they would have won 2 games.
They were one of the worst rushing teams.
They were 30th. If they're 20th, middle of the pack, even less than middle of the pack, they win 2 games last year, and that means they won 11 and got in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Mike McDonald is definitely going to do that.
It was an Olay. It was an Olay in the middle. Like, literally, Here you go.
Yep.
We knew it was coming. I had just to clarify, I had the Rams as my second. So I have 3 teams giving us 2, or 3 divisions, giving us 2 playoff teams apiece. I do think the Seahawks are the other team that just misses out. I have them as 10 wins. I do think they improve on one win.
I think their ceiling is 11 for the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sure. I mean, a couple.
If they get a game you don't expect.
No big argument there. They could sneak in as that 7. I agree with what Jameson said about that, but I think that's just where we're at. I like the Eagles, Cowboys. I like the I like the Rams, Niners, and I like the Lions and the Packers. I think just those rosters are there. I will say I think the Bears probably have the best roster of a team that's not going to make the playoffs. That's what I have.
That's not too bad.
Top to bottom, the Bears have made fantastic moves. They would have been my other team that I wanted to talk about today in terms of great moves in the offseason. Doing a great job with it. I know that we need to get to our pick'em, and we're getting close to our wrap up time, so we'll try and breeze through this as quick as we can. Grant's taking over from here, though.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of stick with the same as the way we've done it. We have five games every week. I really like this week in terms of games. Like I said in our text thread, we've got a lot of potential like division winners playing each other. Like I could see all of these teams winning the division in some weird way. Some of it's a little bit big of a stretch than others. But first game of the season, it's a fireworks show. We got the Ravens at the Chiefs. Let's go. I have it in here. Let's go in the order of I have here. So Matt, Ravens at Chiefs. Who you got?
Sorry. Ravens at Chiefs. I already called it earlier. I'm going to take the Chiefs, slight edge, but I will say it's not because they normally play well out of the gate. If you remember, this team doesn't always do well in that 1-2 week slot or first 2 week slot. And usually if they're going to take an L at home, it does come early. For whatever reason, they're not the fastest starting team in the NFL. But that said, just because of where they're at right now this year, I'm going to go ahead and take the Chiefs. And I'm going to go, I don't know if we're scoring all these, but I'm going to go 27-24.
I'll go next. I'm going Ravens for the exact reasons that Matt said that they could lose, just because it's early. And yeah, like they lost their first game, their home opener last year, to the Lions in a really great game. So I'm just gonna go Ravens. I just think that they're a a regular season juggernaut, and I think that will just kind of be the case week 1. So yeah, I'm going Ravens. How about Jameson?
I will also pick Ravens here just because that fits my Ravens, number 1 seed in the East narrative. And I think they will ultimately need to win that tiebreaker in order to have that. So I'm going to take the Ravens there. But I ultimately think that the Chiefs might get the last laugh.
Yeah. All right, Mike, how about you?
I'm going Chiefs here. I kind of predicted it, gave it away a little earlier today or in the podcast here. But I'm going the Chiefs. I think they're putting on. Yeah, I think they're putting their banner up. I think they're going to win. I think they'll be all right.
Gotcha. All right. Well, then, Mike, we'll just do Snake again. So our next game, we got the Packers at the Eagles. This game is in Brazil, I believe. Open it up there. So, Mike,
yeah. Players are coming out saying Brazil sucks. Don't come.
Yeah.
Your families down there. That's kind of fantastic.
Yeah, I think Slay that said that. Yeah.
It's like one of the number 1 kidnapping places in the world or whatever.
Crime rates like crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with the Eagles, though. I think the Eagles are just a better roster. The Packers to me are almost they could be. That's why I was kind of judging whether or not they could even make the playoffs. Is they might be kind of a one hit. We don't really know who Jordan Love is yet, although he got paid like crazy. So I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Okay, Jameson.
I am going to take the Packers.
All right.
I like the Packers more. I think the Packers are hot right now. And I'm not super duper high on the Eagles. And I think even if the Eagles turn it around, I don't know if it's going to be a week 1 thing. So I think they're going to have some growing pains, even though they got more talented. I'm going to pick the Packers.
Yeah.
And I like the coaching matchup a little bit more because, as you know, I don't like Sirianni. And I do like LaFleur.
Fair.
So
Fair.
There we go.
I'll go next. This is going to be a run heavy game. You got Josh Jacobs versus Saquon Barkley. They're going to run the ball as much as they can. They're traveling. So again, they might already be down there. I don't know when they got down there, but running game always travels. They're going to rely on that. Okay. And I'm just going to take the more talented roster, which is the Eagles. They're more complete. And Matt.
I'm going to go with the Packers. Eagles not at home is a real thing, and they have typically been closer to a 500 team on the road. So I just like this scenario overall. I'm excited to see Josh Jacobs play for the Packers. He was a fantasy target for me in a few different leagues. Excited to see what happens there, but I do expect this to be the highest scoring game probably of the weekend.
Interesting.
Packers give up a lot of rush yards, and the Eagles give up big plays and are really youthful on defense, even though I like the improvements. So that'll be an interesting game. I wouldn't be shocked if they're both in the mid-30s.
Yeah. All righty, Matt. So we're sticking with you then, doing the snake thing. Game 3, we have Jaguars at the Dolphins. Florida battle.
Not going to lie, this is my least favorite game on the thing. This is automatically the Dolphins. That's it.
All right. I just to be different and try and get a game on this, I'm gonna pick the Jags here. I think
always goes well for Grant. He should do that.
Yeah. I'm just going with Jags.
Spiritual Zag.
Yeah, it is that 100%. Thank you for bringing that back. You just unlocked the memory. But I'm going Jags here. There's something about it I'm feeling. Jameson.
You guys know I love me some Jags, but not this time. I don't think it's their year this year. And I do think the Dolphins are just going to come out and potentially score like 40 points in week 1 just because they can. So I wouldn't be surprised for a bit of a blowout in this game. I just don't think the Jags can hang as currently constructed. Let's go Dolphins.
I'm also Dolphins. Yep, straight up Dolphins. I think this team is going to light up the scoreboard. They could put up 40, I think. So that's what I got.
All right, Mike, sticking with you then. Rams at the Lions. This is a playoff rematch.
This is my difference between my 1 and 2 seed is actually right here. So I have to go to Lions. This is where the tiebreaker comes in for my standings. I like what the Lions did. I like what the Rams did. This might be my highest scoring game of the weekend for me.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Jameson, I already wrote it down, but I don't know, you've kind of thrown us some curveballs tonight. So
yeah, I actually, I'm not going to let my bias come into it. I ultimately am going to pick the Lions here. I do think the Rams have a really good shot in this game because I think they could have won the game last year in the playoffs. It was right there for them.
Yeah.
But I think right now you're getting Lions at home coming off of a historic year for them. That place is going to be rumbling. They're going to be hyped. You've got the guys back and you got a little bit better. And so I think the Rams are going to be really good. I just don't think they're going to be able to quite outpace them in that environment right yet. So I'm going to take the Lions.
All righty. Lions it is. Myself, I'm going to go Lions. I think it's the difference of it being at home. That's it. Like I'm just taking the home team here.
I don't blame you.
I think that's a great way to split the difference, and I'm going to join you. Lions.
These teams match up like they got answers on both sides for each other. I'm just going home team.
Yeah, yep. There's no reason to just put any more fuel to that fire. I think it is what it is.
This felt like the toughest game for me this week, by the way, that you picked up. Is this Rams Lions was so close to me.
It is. It's a great game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to be rooting for the Rams. Like,
no,
just be very clear.
What?
But yeah, I agree.
All right, Matt. Matt. All righty. It is the Jets at the 49ers. Let's hear it.
It is what it is. The boys are back. Everybody's under contract. Everybody's playing. CMC is going to have a nice night. That is just what's going to happen. Ayuk's going to calm all the nerves, get that catch and go. But ultimately, I think this is a George Kittle game, and Bro's going to find the end zone in this one and probably lead the 49ers in receiving yards. So I got the Niners taking this one at home. Aaron Rodgers did not play well against the 49ers. And I think this is a really tough matchup for them to be in week 1, especially without the prize pass rusher they'd hope to have in Reddick. Doesn't look like he's playing at all, and not anytime soon. So I think the Niners the edge for a few different reasons.
Yeah, not going to reiterate a whole lot there. I'm picking the Niners. They're a home team. They play well at home. It's a long travel time. So literally like pretty much the farthest you can be. There's one more thing I was going to say. I do actually think this is going to be closer than people think. I don't think this is like a stomping. I think they win by a score, like probably 28-21, something like that.
Fair.
But I think it'll actually be pretty close. I think it'll be kind of a Niners pulled out at the end kind of a deal. Just kind of keep the game interesting. That's what I hope for. I always want a team to win it in the last bit. But Yeah, I'm gonna go Niners. Next up is Jameson.
Man,
He's
like
thinking.
I'm going to pick the 49ers ultimately. Really, it comes down to the two things that Matt already mentioned. It's at home, and Aaron Rodgers does not play well against the 49ers. I think if this were a neutral field, I might be even a little bit closer. And if it just weren't this weird voodoo that is between Aaron Rodgers and the Niners, it would be even closer. And I might consider the Jets and maybe the Niners coming off just a little sloppy week one after having a bunch of off-season contract disputes and, obviously, some other off the field stuff with Pearsall getting shot at and shot, and just a lot of emotional things coming off of a Super Bowl loss. Again, I think there's like a lot of baggage that you get brought into, but I think ultimately, with those two factors being a home game, being Aaron Rodgers, and also being Saleh, like I think there's a part of that where it's like you understand a little bit of what's going on there from a coaching perspective, and so I don't want to write that off completely. So I do think the Niners, but I agree with Grant. I don't think it's going to be, a blowout game. I think it's going to be maybe a little bit closer. I think Rodgers will probably look good, but I don't, they just don't have the reps yet. So I'm going to go with the team that has been the team. And I'm going to pick the Niners.
Awesome. All right, Mike, wrap it and get
All
up.
right. I'm going with the Jets.
Okay. Is this for real?
I think the Jets are going to win this game on a last minute drive there by Rodgers, probably a field goal. The Niners' first team offense and defense have not been on the field at all together this season until this week. So I think that's gonna be a slow start and I think this is the only game they win or lose in the first like 5 or 6 games. But I think first week here, Jets probably just come out and just get a little bit better on the Niners right here to start the year.
I think
I love Downer Mike though. As a 49er fan, I love Downer Mike. Downer Mike is usually wrong.
I don't know.
He's like 80 to 90% being wrong. This is just his nerves. I know this part of his fandom pretty well. So I will take that juju because you're normally wrong. I mean, this is a guy who told me Trent Williams wasn't going to be playing games, so it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
prepare for the worst.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fair.
Hope for the best.
All right, we got it locked in though. That's our pick 'em for the week.
I got some good variety in there.
We did. There was plenty of disagreement today, which we are all fans of.
Keeps it interesting. That was the point.
There's not a week where everybody picked the same team, or a game this week where everybody picked the same team.
That's true.
We all picked the Lions.
The Lions.
The Lions
we did. Okay, it's all crisscross.
That's good.
Never mind.
Way to start it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we got through quite a bit tonight. I think we're in that hour and 10 mark right now. So I want to respect everybody's time. Say thank you for listening. We'll probably add on some fantasy stuff here week to week. We know everybody's drafting this week. So if you didn't get a premier running back in the first 2 rounds, you're going to lose your league and enjoy that.
Fall off was crazy, my friends.
It was rough. I mean, you had to pray for that Josh Jacobs pickup later on. If you're relying on all those second tier dudes to get you through the season, bye. Hope you're at least in a full PPR league, so you give yourself a chance, or one of those stupid super flexes where you got 2 quarterbacks. But I know we drafted our guillotine this week. All of our leagues are in place. Just got done with our last draft, so we're looking forward to giving you guys a little bit of here and there information. Although Mike and I are in the same level of our 3-tier league this year, so I'm not going to give a lot on the podcast. But anyway, we're looking forward to the rest of the season. We'll be back on every week, hitting you guys up with our opinions, our takes on what's going on. We're usually right, so just stay locked in with us. We'll give you all the information you need, except for Grant.
Me specifically. No, me specifically. Don't listen to this guy.
But we are looking forward to the season, having you guys join us on YouTube. Thank you so much for hitting like and subscribe. Thanks for being with us each week, and we'll hit you this next week. Happy NFL season, everybody.
Nice time, baby. You made it.